I haven't vlogged in a while. There's been a lot going on, and I was thinking about some things, and I said I should probably just do this. Uh, the U.S. Open's going on right now, so I've been watching that. Fridays are typically my day off, but I've been wrestling a lot with momentum, thinking a lot about momentum and how do you create momentum. A lot of times with organizations, churches, um, if you can get behind momentum, and sometimes it's trying to figure out where's God moving, or maybe if you're selling a product, is where's the public moving, and if you can capitalize on momentum, and really instead of you know doing all the hard work, if you can get something to multiply and just roll, almost like a wave going, and if then all you got to do is ride that wave, your job becomes really easy. So with online services, I've been calling it kind of like the final leg of online church. Is we're able to get a lot of people to watch online, and there's tons of ways you can do that. You can just have the systems of just launching a church online the same way you would launch a campus, taking it seriously with staffing time and so forth. But the other thing, you can pay for viewers, and that's kind of the hard thing with online church. Is it's really easy to get eyeballs because you can pay. Now, you can't just pay for somebody to go to church physically. It doesn't work that way, because the commitment's a lot more. You got to get your kids dressed, you got to get dressed, you got to show up. There's a lot more investment. So if somebody comes there physically, there's a highly likelihood that they're invested. But with online, paying for viewers, it's easier to get them to click into a service, and that's why it's more likely that they're not committed. So we wrestle with this idea, is that how do you actually do that in a wise way? And so we've been doing that with groups, but we haven't really done advertisement because we haven't really figured out the right return. It's this idea with church planting movement, this idea of adult baptisms is this number that you need to be tracking to see how effective you are. And I struggle with that because we're really good at getting eyeballs and salvations, but if I can get them with other people, then I can facilitate that adult baptism kind of experience. And so we've spent a lot of time getting people into groups. One thing is because that's what our church does. We're a church not with groups, but of groups, and it's part of our dynamic. And it's also what we can provide a really good experience. So we're online, but really I'm a small groups pastor with this online venue to get people connected. So the first phase was to get our online experience in a good rotation. The second was to provide ways for people to be part of online groups and small groups in homes. And now we have 1,800 of those. And now this last leg is, how do we use our online venue to help create momentum in areas outside of where Saddleback is already to plant future churches? And so we've spent a lot of time wrestling with that. And there's good and bad in that. And so right now, in the last couple of weeks, we've been in this. We have two areas where there's momentum. And so what we're trying to do is, how do we foster that? It's kind of like a fire's going and you just want to breathe into it. We're not planting anything there right now, but what would it look like to hold a couple events and build momentum? So I don't have the money and the staffing to launch a whole campus. That's not what I do. It's not what I'm good at. We have a whole amazing team that does that, and that's what they're good at. What I want to do is, how do I get some momentum that other teams could ride then? And what would it look like to do that? And so we're doing some events where we're going to get people together, and we've already done some of those and we've had some numbers. So what if we did another event and we set a goal, and then we do another one? What if we were to create some momentum? And that's the hard part, is that sometimes you can and sometimes you can't create momentum. And so I've been wrestling with that, is that if we could figure out how to do, we're really good at the online stuff for the most part. Groups, we're amazing at groups. What if we use these clusters of groups and online watching data in different areas far away to help inform maybe where God's moving and maybe where we can go next. So anyways, that's what we've been wrestling with, and we're planning some events and so forth. So we'll keep you up to date, reading a lot of church planting books and a lot of things about creating momentum and launches and so forth. But at the same time, that's not what I do. But we're just, again, at the end of the day, I'm trying to move people online to offline, and I want everybody to have a healthy church experience. And so I want people to have what I have with my family. We go to a campus. So how do I bring that to the online community? Well, maybe that means gathering some clusters of small groups that got launched through the online campus and somehow breathing momentum and fire into that and vision to help them grow into something. I don't know what they'll grow into, but that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm kind of messing around with in my head. So anyways, that's what's on my head. Thanks so much for watching. Share your comments below. Check out jkranda.com for anything else, and the Social Media Church podcast. I'm going to go back to watching the US Open.